Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having an awesome weekend so far. Students, this is an IELTS speaking part 2 class, the cue card, the long part. And this one will be about your dream vacation. Now, this is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch. In order to join the chat, you need to be a member of the channel. Welcome, Angel, Lydia, Domenico, Fuang. Nice to see so many of you in the class. Cahyani, Elizabeth, lovely to have you here. Looking forward to hearing about your dream vacations. Students, this class is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS success, visit us there. For general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. We will use these websites today in this class and in the next class to interact with our students. This is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com. You can click this big red button that's just above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It doesn't cost a lot of money and it really helps you to get the job done. We have thousands of students each month who we help to pass and succeed on IELTS. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent. You're in great hands with us, and we have a new code for you today. The new code is sitar 9, the instrument, the sitar, beautiful instrument. And that's coming from our latest video release. That's because we have a new video for you today that we just released a couple hours ago, and that candidate is an awesome band 9 with incredible English and vocabulary, so check her out. You can see that video here. So members, Constellation, Domenico, if you haven't seen that video, check it out. She's really great, and there's some good vocabulary in that video for you and some great topics about technology and music. So take a look. All right, for our Instagram, check us out at IELTS_AE help. By the way, we just started a new Threads profile, and that has the same name as our Instagram because Instagram and Threads are really just kind of linking together. If you haven't heard about that, you will soon. Threads, the big new social media, millions of people signing up every day. Threads by Facebook, Instagram. Anyway, you can check out IELTS_AE help there. And you can also check out GIELTS help. We haven't set up Threads for that yet, but we have the Instagram. All right. And for emails, if you have questions, check us out at, or send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. Okay. All right. Domenico, I see you're still a melting glacier. Yeah, you know, just relax a little bit. Relax. Stretch those legs. Put them up. Rest yourself. Don't overdo it. All right. All work, no play makes an angry Domenico, right? As the saying goes. Amazon has our books, everybody. You can check for AE Helps Academic IELTS and GE Helps General IELTS on Amazon. After today's classes, so we've got speaking part 2 right now for members, and then we've got speaking part 3 for everyone. So it's a great idea to hang out so that you can use the information from this class for speaking part 3. Speaking part 3 is linked to part 2. Then no class on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and back on the 13th with speaking part 1 for everyone. Okay, and then we've got task 2 and the rest of that listening exam next week, and speaking part 2 and 3. Yes. Constellation says the Twitter killer. I don't know if that's going to happen. Constellation, time will tell, but we'll see. Okay, so YouTube video, yes. It's the new one. I've already put it in the chat, so check that out. And let's get into IELTS speaking part 2, the cue card. Everybody, don't be afraid of part 2 cue card. Know what to do. As long as you know what you are doing, you will be fine. You will do great. Okay. So, in the IELTS exam, your part 1 is about 6 minutes or so, introductions and some topics or some questions on some kind of a general topic. I think this week we had emails for task 1, so asking about emails, how often you send emails, who you send emails to. So you have this kind of speaking part 1, sports, hobbies, emails, ice cream. And then the examiner says, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these questions. Think about your answers. You can take notes in this 1 minute time if you wish. You have some note paper there, your pencil. And then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Is that clear? And then you say, yes, that's 100% clear. And then the examiner will say, talk about your dream vacation. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. And they will give you exactly 60 seconds to prepare your answer. So, in that 60 seconds, it's not a lot of time, but it is a lot of time. Remember what I said, students, when you count seconds in English, you count them as 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000. If you count all the way to 60 1,000, you realize that 60 seconds is actually a bit of time. Although in the grand scheme of a human life, in our 100 years, it doesn't seem like a lot of time. It is time. It is time. There is time to do a lot in that 1 minute, as long as you know what you are doing. Okay? So step 1 is read the question carefully. Okay? It really could be a good idea to read it twice, especially if you're not 1,000% sure the first time. The biggest mistake a candidate can make right away is to talk off topic. Okay? Think about it this way, right? Like, I mean, your English won't really improve during your speaking session. And we haven't really talked about this too much, members, but it's an important fact to keep in mind. I know you know this, but it's still important to keep it in mind. So you can't really worry about your vocabulary or grammar during your speaking exam, because you can't really improve on that beyond your ability in that moment. So the only parts you can worry about, okay, or not worry, but that you should concern yourself with, is your confidence and your content. Okay? Those are really the two aspects that you can improve in the immediate. Okay? So these are really the only two aspects that you can improve on in the immediate situation. Okay, all right. Does that make sense? And I mean, it's simple logic, right? Language is not learned within 24 hours. So you can't really do too much with your grammar or your vocabulary in that moment. Okay? Trying to squeeze an extra idiom into your speech is not going to make the difference between a band 7 and a band 8. Okay? Very unlikely. But what you say overall and the confidence that you say it with, that will impact your mark in the immediate, and you can change that in the immediate situation. So that's what you need to focus on, okay? For instance, misunderstanding the question, okay? Like in this case, it says, talk about your dream vacation. If you talk about some vacation that you went on 2 years ago, you're off topic and you're not going to get a very good mark, right? This is a conditional, right? So it's where would you go? When would you go there? Who would you go with and why? What kinds of activities would you do and why is this your dream vacation? Okay? So this is a conditional and it's a dream vacation and it's hypothetical. Okay. If you talk about, oh, I went on a fantastic vacation last year to Hawaii and I loved it. It's my dream vacation and I'm so glad that I did that. I visited Kauai and Maui and I saw a lot of beautiful natural landscapes and did some surfing. So if you talk about that, you're off topic. Okay. You're off topic and you're not going to get the best score possible. Here, the examiner is obviously looking for lots of conditionals, right? Okay, so read the question carefully, all right? Yes, Elizabeth, just like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Those are counting seconds as well, yes. Okay, so we read the question. Talk about your dream vacation. Where would you go? When would you go there? Who would you go with and why? And what kinds of activities would you do? And why is this your dream vacation? Okay. All right. So immediately you recognize the category. Okay. What's the category here, everybody? So step 2 is category and tense. Okay. And you recognize what kind of grammar or verb tenses you're going to use. Okay. All right. Yeah, so in this case, it's an event. Absolutely, right? So you're talking about an event, your dream vacation, okay? And maybe a place, exactly, okay? So lots of content, place and an event, where you're going and who would you go with and what kind of activities you would do. So very nice, good. Event and place, smart, smart, okay? And the grammar is mostly conditional, present, future. Okay. Excellent. Now, step 3. Okay, the next step. Step 3 is to think of at least a few ideas. All right. Now, most of us have, some concept of a dream vacation. And some of us might even have like 2 or 3 ideas for a dream vacation. So we want to make a list, right? So maybe we'll say Hawaii. Okay. Maybe we'll say New York. Maybe we'll say Portugal coast. Okay. Some people might think Disneyland. All right. Now, if these places or ideas pop into my mind, I probably would not talk about Hawaii, and I probably would not talk about Disneyland. Why not? Why would I not choose to talk about Disneyland or Hawaii? Okay. And constellation, or Lydia, I might even skip the Egyptian pyramids. Yeah, so Lydia says they're used too commonly by many students. Yeah, these are too common and can seem to be a memorized template. Okay. Examiners do not like templates. It's that simple. You need to sound original. Okay? It doesn't have to be extremely unique. So you have to be careful. So talking about a place that most people haven't heard of could make it difficult to explain. Okay, so in this case, it's probably a good idea to pick a place that's maybe not too common, but also not unknown. Okay. It's a good idea, right? So, for instance, the Portugal coast would be a really good idea for me. I would love to visit Portugal and the Portuguese Mediterranean for a dream vacation. And it's not too common, but it's common enough that it's known. Another good one that I saw here, I think it was by Domenico, is Belize. Yeah, Belize would be a nice place. So let's check for a few more here. So Domenico says Belize. Yeah, it's a nice tropical place. Good. What other places? So let's think of some other dream vacations. Romelia, I know that you're quite the traveler. Where would you go for your dream vacation? Fuang, where would you go? I know you've mentioned China before. Egyptian pyramids, I think, Lydia, would be a little bit too common. Okay. Fuang says Kyoto, Japan. Okay, good. Elizabeth, Paris could be okay. I think Paris would be a little bit too common as well. Cahyani says Antarctica. Cahyani, that could be a little bit difficult to talk about. I mean, Antarctica is quite unique in certain ways, but it's a land of ice and snow. Okay. Romelia says, I've already written about this. Okay. Romelia says Transylvania. Yes, home of the famous or infamous Dracula, Count Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, as they say. Okay. So, Fuang, I really like what you're saying. Kyoto, Japan. Okay. Let's talk about it. Kyoto, Japan. It's a great choice. All right. Now, I might choose Kyoto, Japan as well, Fuang. So I like it. Okay. Why would I choose Kyoto, Japan, you ask me? Why do you think? So, of all the choices you've presented so far, I like Kyoto, Japan the most. It's definitely original. Most people have heard about it. But maybe not super well known as a dream destination. There's another reason why I would choose to go to Kyoto, Japan. What do you think is that reason? Let's see if anybody can guess this. And it's actually a very important tip or strategy for you to do well in your speaking part 2 if you were to get this cue card or get this part 2 question. So why do you think that I might choose Kyoto, Japan? Hint, hint, if some of you know a little bit about my past, then you might be able to guess this. So we've got a lot of comments here. Exotic culture, Buddhist temples, different religions and cultures. Constellation says your girlfriend? No, Constellation, my wife would be like, what? No Constellation, but nice try. But no, Constellation, nice try, really. You're actually the closest in some way. I'll explain in a moment. Okay. Japanese language. Yes, I speak some Japanese. The reason I would choose it is I've been there multiple times. Okay. Okay. So that's why I would choose it. All right. So think clever on the IELTS. On the IELTS, you don't actually have to tell the truth. Keep that in mind. So you do not need to tell the truth. In this case, it may be wise to pick a place that you have been to and present it as a dream destination that you have not visited. So the examiner probably doesn't know you, right? They're not going to be like, hey, wait a second. I remember seeing you in Kyoto. Remember that temple that you were visiting? I saw you there. Now I can place you. I remember your face. No, that's it's not going to happen. Okay. That's only in our dreams. So presenting the information as that's the dream vacation where you would like to go as if you haven't been there. Why? Because you have tons of information on it. It's easy to visualize. You've been there, right? So you have lots of information in this way. And yes, Constellation, I was there with my girlfriend at that time many years ago. So you weren't completely wrong. Okay, so you were kind of thinking in the right direction, but that was many years ago, but I still remember it very clearly. So you have lots of information in this way and a lot of visual memory, right? Okay, I have a couple of funny stories from Kyoto. But anyhow, let's do this. Okay. All right. So we have our topic and then we take notes. That's our next step, right? Step 4, useful notes. Okay. So here, the notes, because we have an event and a place, right? We need to talk about location, time, attendees, activities, experience, okay? And probably appearance as well. Okay. All right. So location. Southern Japan-ish. Kansai region. See, like Kansai region, I would never be able to think about that if it's a dream vacation that I've never been to, right? So location, Southern Japan, Kansai region, okay, coastal, more or less, right? Appearance, ancient, mountainous, or mountains, sure, hills around Kyoto, all right? Nice architecture. Shinto and Buddhist. Okay. Time. 3,000-year-old culture and history. When I would like to go there, definitely in around June would be ideal, because it's not too hot. Kyoto can get very hot and humid in July and August, so I would probably go around June. Okay. For about a week. You'd need about a week to really check out Kyoto. They've got a lot of history and a lot of places for you to go. All right. Attendees, family, activities, temple tours, nature tours, food, adventure. Kyoto's got incredible restaurants. Okay. And the experience, enlightening. Okay. So you don't have a lot of time, 1 minute. It's not tons of time to take notes. As long as you can get about that many notes, then you're good to go. And then step 5, of course, is your first sentence. So again, just to reiterate, everybody, you can't really improve your English within the 1 minute of preparation time, right? Unless, you might, thinking really hard, think of the word like here where you say appearance, you might think of the word monks, right? So in Kyoto, you can see monks walking around, and then, monks is a good word. And, using the word monks may or may not help you to get a little bit of a better score, but it's certainly not going to be the difference between a band 5 and a band 7. Okay. Rather, again, just to reiterate, where you will be able to make an improvement is your attitude. So being confident, right? Okay, so again, this part here that I was talking about at the start of class. So confidence, you can be more confident, and you can have good content. And when we're talking about good content, what we're talking about is structure, right? So you have good structure, good flow. Okay. In order to have good structure, good flow, you must think about that first sentence before the examiner says your 1 minute preparation time is up. If that means you're taking less notes or you're getting less ideas, that's fine. Make sure to have your first sentence ready. Okay. Super duper important. Thumbs up, everybody. Yes, first sentence is really, really important. Okay. So for my dream vacation, I would love to visit the ancient city of Kyoto in Japan with my family. Okay? All right. So when the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up, please begin speaking, then right away, I don't go, well, there are so many places that I would love to go for my dream vacation. I would love to visit Hawaii for its beautiful beaches. I think it would be amazing to go to New York and check out famous sites like the Empire State Building. However, the dream vacation that I would really like to go on is to visit Kyoto, Japan. No. Okay, that's 30 seconds that it took me to just get the answer out. Kyoto, Japan, right? And the examiner is kind of thinking, they're not usually changing their facial expression, but in their head, they're like, why didn't you just say I would love to go to Kyoto, Japan for my dream vacation right from the beginning, right? Like, I didn't ask you about all the other places. I'm asking you about your dream vacation, okay? So talk to me about your dream vacation. So, again, this is speaking, everybody. So make sure to speak and repeat, okay? Copy what I say, copy how I say it. For my dream vacation, I would love to visit the ancient city of Kyoto in Japan with my family, okay? Now, what would be a good sentence to come after this? So realistically, okay, think about what is the natural question that the examiner is thinking about at this point. So if you're the examiner, all right, so Domenico, Habibe, Fuang, Lydia, Cahyani, you're the examiner. And I'm sitting down with you at a coffee shop, and you just, for fun, ask me, Adrian, where's your dream vacation? Where would you like to go? And I tell you, as a response, well, for my dream vacation, I would love to visit the ancient city of Kyoto in Japan. What would you ask me next? What would be your next question? So get in the mind of the examiner. Yeah, so what's the full sentence, Habibe? Cahyani? Yeah, Romelia, why, right? So exactly. So that would be the question, right? Like, why is this your dream vacation? Okay, so that would be the natural question. And see, you get it, right? Like all of you, or most of you anyway, have the same question. Like, why? Why would you go to Kyoto for your dream vacation? So naturally, I want to answer that. So well, you know what? Give me an answer. Make it up. Okay, I'm not going to, I don't want to spoil this for you. I want you to make it up. So give me the sentence. Just make up an answer. Okay, so for my dream vacation, I would love to visit the ancient city of Kyoto in Japan with my family. And you realize, okay, the examiner is probably thinking, why is that your dream vacation? Why would you like to go there? Make it up. Give me a sentence that you think would make sense as to why you would go to Kyoto, Japan. Okay. All right. Domenico, I see you're practicing for your own part too. Now, the reason I'm asking you to answer this is because I want you to recognize the grammar that becomes useful here. Okay. So complex grammar should not be forced. Complex grammar should come naturally, and it does come naturally when you think about the right content. Okay. So here, what would be the sentence? I'm going to write it, but I'm going to do it silently just to see if you kind of came up with the same idea. Okay. So Constellation says, I've always longed for a vacation in Kyoto. I visualized this many times. It's a short film playing again and again in my mind. Okay, Constellation, good. So the key point here, Constellation, is you realize that present perfect is a really good form of grammar to use here. I have been dreaming about. Why do you think this is a common way to express this situation? So let's just digress here for a second. Why do you think? So why do you think that it would be very common for a lot of English speakers to use the present perfect here and say, I have been dreaming about? So why is this a very common expression? So why is it common to use present perfect here? Okay. Elizabeth says, for my dream vacation, I'd love to visit Kyoto, Japan with my family to learn about this beautiful and interesting place. Yes. Okay. So why use present perfect? Constellation, you're basically doing the same as what I'm doing. So you're saying, I have always longed for a vacation in Kyoto. Okay. When we're talking about our dreams and what we wish to do, present perfect is used well because present perfect shows what? Because. Why? Yeah, right, Fuang. So, because. Okay. So, right, Lydia, it's a continuous action. So, we continue to dream, right? Okay, so these are the reasons that present perfect is used in this context, because present perfect is used to emphasize experience over time, achievement over time, expectation over time, change over time, repetition over time, right? And in this case, for wishes and dreams, it's clear that we have expectation, a non-achievement that we're emphasizing, and continuity over time, right? So for my dream vacation, I would love to visit the ancient city of Kyoto in Japan with my family. I have been dreaming about visiting Kyoto ever since I have been learning or had been learning Japanese in high school and college. Okay. Kyoto is the first capital city of Japan and one of the oldest civilized cities in human history. Therefore, it has an extremely rich culture with many places of interest. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm describing Kyoto a little bit. Okay, so the examiner, again, if I take the role of the examiner, if I'm empathetic with the examiner, then the next question, if I'm sitting in the coffee shop with the examiner, in the coffee shop, the examiner's in their head, the next question is probably, well, can you tell me a little bit about Kyoto? So what is Kyoto like, right? So therefore, it has an extremely rich culture with many places of interest. Kyoto is also known as the city of 1,000 temples because there are lots of Shinto and Buddhist temples that can be found around the Kyoto region. The city is surrounded by steep hills, and some of these incredible temples were built up high on these smaller mountains. The architecture is not only beautiful, but also quite advanced for its time. Okay? All right. So now, when you have been to a place and you're talking about it as if you haven't been there, so obviously I've been to Kyoto, I've seen it. you have to be careful not to overspeak, right? So don't talk too much about describing the city. Just give some information about it, give kind of a picture, and then make sure to answer the questions on the cue card, right? It's like, okay, enough about what it looks like, right? So I would travel to Kyoto in May or June when the weather is pleasant, not too hot, and before the rainy summer season. Okay. And again, I know this because I lived there, and I know that by the time you get to the end of June and into July, you can get those heavy rains that come into Japan around that time. Okay. All right. I would stay for about a week, so I have plenty of time to explore both the temples and museums, as well as enjoy the world-renowned culinary culture. Indeed, Kyoto has some of the best Japanese restaurants, and I'm into all kinds of dishes like sushi, ramen, and even trying delicacies like fugu. Okay. All right. So again, don't get lost. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the card as well. Keep your eye on your notes, right? So who would you go with? Family. We haven't talked about that, right? Look at the question. So where would you go? Yes. Talked about it. When would you go? Talked about it. Who would you go with and why? Haven't talked about it. What kinds of activities would you do, and why is this your dream vacation? Okay. So haven't talked enough about that. Talked a little bit about that, but haven't talked enough about that. Okay. So here, let's get into it. I would go there with my wife and 2 children because I think they would be amazed at the sights and sounds of the city and gain a deep appreciation for the evolution of human culture and knowledge by seeing the past and present of Kyoto. Okay, so that's enough about that. And then this would be my dream destination so that I could practice my Japanese, learn a little of the local dialect, the Kansai Ben, and also visit many of the places I have been so curious about since my young adulthood. Okay. All right. Romelia is asking, please, I'm still not sure. Do we have to answer all the questions on the prompt? Some IELTS specialists said that no, they are provided only to have an idea. Romelia, you have to answer all the questions on the cue card. I don't know who in their right mind is saying that, and I wouldn't call them, Romelia, just in as polite of way as I could say it, IELTS specialists, because there is a mark for the IELTS examiners on their sheet that's answered all the questions on the cue card. There's literally like a task completion mark that's used as part of their calculation. And the big problem that they have at these IELTS centers is students walk in and use memorized sentences and ideas, and then just kind of, oh, talk about your dream vacation. Okay, I'll talk about like the place where I like to go, right? And then they kind of go off topic, and you can see that it's kind of adapting what they memorized. So no, examiners really want you to stay on the cue card and answer those questions on the cue card. It's not just a guide, okay? I don't know who's saying that, but they really shouldn't be saying that because they don't know what they're talking about. If you talk to IELTS examiners that actually have the training and they give you the mark, they will say, yes, you have to answer the questions on the cue card. That's why we give it to you. And each cue card has some specific questions, okay? So they might have a cue card, Romelia, that says, talk about your dream vacation. And then it has a different question. Like, for instance, Romelia, it'll have a question like on a different day, a different cue card, also about dream vacation, might have something like, what do you need to make this dream vacation a reality? Okay, we did not have this question on this cue card, right? So we didn't answer it. I didn't say that, well, Japan is quite an expensive country and it's far away, so I would need to buy plane tickets, which would cost around $14,000 for a family of 4 these days, plus hotels are at least $300 to $400 a night. So I imagine that such a trip would require me to invest a minimum of $20,000. But I don't say any of that because it's not being asked and it's not coming to my mind, right? It's not a project, it's not a requirement. However, if the cue card did say that, then I would have to answer that. That question is not just there to guide me. That question's there because it's looking for that specific answer. Does that make sense? So is that clear? That like, and you can see that. So when you're looking at the cue card, you can see that there are definitely a couple of questions that are really asking you for some fairly specific information to include in your response. Okay, so it's not just a guide. Those IELTS examiners those IELTS specialists, because they're not examiners. Examiners would not tell you that. So those IELTS specialists don't really know what they're saying, okay? They're coming up with it. They're copying some other guy that said it. But I promise you they've never sat the actual IELTS exam, because if they had, then they would know that you do need to cover all of that. Romelia, when I sat the IELTS exam last time, I covered every question on the cue card. I got a band 9 in the speaking. It was incognito, and I made sure that I covered every question. And I could tell that just by looking at the examiner that they were like, oh, okay, he's answering all the questions. Okay, all right. So careful. There's a lot of, especially these days, in fact, in the last 2-3 months, I've seen a lot of new IELTS specialists on YouTube that I usually don't like to comment on it, but they're flying by the seat of their pants. Okay, so careful with that. All right. They're flying by the seat of their pants. I think they're just really trying to think of how can I get somebody to click on my video, right? It's a really bad ideology, but you know, it is what it is. And there's a lot of that on YouTube and the internet. So anyway, let's throw that out. Let's get back to Target here. Yes, exactly, Romelia, they're IELTS specialists. Yeah. Let's get back to this and take a look at what we have. Make sure we have about 90 seconds of response time, and then we'll go from there. So you should always question, right? Like, what's good communication? What's good test taking strategy and logic, right? Logically, if you have a cue card with 5-6 questions, they want you to answer those 5-6 questions. Okay, speak and repeat. Here we go. So talk about your dream vacation. For my dream vacation, I would love to visit the ancient city of Kyoto, Japan with my family. I've been dreaming about visiting Kyoto ever since I had been learning Japanese in high school and college. Kyoto is the first capital city of Japan and one of the oldest civilized cities in human history. Therefore, it has an extremely rich culture with many places of interest. Kyoto is also known as the city of 1,000 temples because there are a lot of Shinto and Buddhist temples that can be found around Kyoto. The city is surrounded by steep hills, and some of these incredible temples were built up on these smaller mountains. The architecture is not only beautiful, but quite advanced for its time. I would travel to Kyoto in May or June when the weather is pleasant, it's not too hot, and before the rainy summer season. I would stay for about a week, so I have plenty of time to explore both the temples, museums, as well as enjoy the world-renowned culinary culture. Indeed, Kyoto has some of the best Japanese restaurants, and I'm into all kinds of dishes like, of course, sushi, but also ramen, and even trying some rare delicacies like fugu or puffer fish. I would go there with my wife and 2 children because I think they would be amazed at the sights and sounds of the area and gain a deep appreciation for the evolution of human culture and knowledge by seeing the past and present of Kyoto. This would be my dream destination so that I could practice my Japanese, learn a little of the local dialect, the Kansai Ben, and also visit many of the places I have been so curious about since my young adulthood. Okay, your time is up. We will now go on to part 3. So that's what a part 2 sounds like. Now, if you were having trouble reading or repeating, not to worry. This class is recorded, and you can go back and check this response again and go step by step, repeat the sentences, underline various types of grammar and vocabulary. Any questions about this, members? So are there any words that you're not sure what they mean, or any sentence structures where you're not sure what I'm doing or what I'm expressing? Let me know, okay? And while you do that, we'll start to get ready for the volunteering, where you get to talk about your dream vacation, okay? Lydia, world-renowned simply means famous around the world, okay? So world-renowned culinary culture. Yes, it's quite a mouthful for sure. So let me see where that was. Shouldn't have adjusted the hyphenation there. I could have seen it a lot faster. There it is. Okay. World-renowned culinary culture. It's extremely food and dining that is famous around the world. That's what it means, okay? Fuang, what does it mean advanced for its time? So, in this case, Fuang, Japanese architecture was incredibly developed compared to other architecture around the world. So the engineering, the mathematics that they used to build those temples, they were really advanced compared to other cultures around the world that existed at that time. So advanced for its time means more developed in comparison to other structures of that era. Okay. Yep, Mal says ahead of its time. Yep, that would be another way to say it. Absolutely, Mal. Exactly. Okay, good. All right, students, volunteering. Here we go. Go to aehelp.com. As I said, we're going to be using the website in this class and in the next to speak with our members, but also to speak with our viewers, especially in the next class. So you go to the website, aehelp.com. Again, you can register a premium account by clicking the big red button that's just above my head there. Once more, it's a single payment. You get lifetime access. Then you go into your My Student account. In your My Student account, you have your computer-based practice exams, your full online course. You've got workbooks, study plans, over 100 lesson videos, and then you have your IELTS audio CDs. And you have your student partner speaking right there. Okay. Click on that. Accept the terms. And you will be in the chat interface with many of your fellow peers. And then find me. You'll find me as Master. Okay. And next to Master, you will see a blue envelope like you see beside everyone else. You click that blue envelope and you say, I want to volunteer. Now, members, you do have first priority here, as you know, especially in these members chat classes. So if you're a member, then I'm looking for you. If you're not joining the chat, let me know. Okay. And I know that Cahyani, who has been a student of ours for a long time, and she's really studying hard, she has her exam tomorrow. So let's give Cahyani a chance, because she really has been working hard throughout the past months, and I think she definitely deserves to just maximize the opportunity to increase her confidence in her English for her upcoming test. So Cahyani, let's see if you're there, and we'll give you a shot here. Are you ready? And you never know, Cahyani, maybe you'll get super duper lucky, and the topic of part 2 will be something about a dream vacation or a vacation destination, right? That would be interesting.
Hello, Adrian.
Hi, Cahyani. How are you?
Yeah, I'm quite good because my exam is tomorrow.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Let's give you a chance at this so you can really get some practice in. And like I said, you never know. Maybe you'll get lucky. You'll get a cue card that's about a vacation. So,
I hope so then.
right? Okay. Well, definitely, Cahyani, so next week, please come back to a couple of the classes and share your experience with all of your peers. I'm sure that Romelia, Domenico, Elizabeth, they would all love to hear about your IELTS test and how it went and what kind of topics you had. So if you have a bit of time, come back and share with us, okay?
Absolutely, sir. I will.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm sure we're all rooting for you. I know I am. I've got my fingers crossed. I'm really curious. I think you're going to get at least a band 7 in your speaking, but you tell me, okay? I think by Thursday you'll have your online mark, so you'll be able to tell us.
Okay, yes, sir. The result will speak.
We'll see. Okay, Cahyani, let's do this. So I'm going to start you off, and then give me a nice full answer for this cue card, and I will give you some feedback. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these. Think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Talk about your dream vacation. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
If I have a chance to take a holiday, I would like to go to Tidung Island that is situated in north of Jakarta coast with my family and my boyfriend. This is one of popular island in a group of 1,000 islands, and I have been dreaming to visit this island since I was 8 years old, and also it is one of my bucket lists. So there are this is like one of the popular island. It is proven because the view of the island it is beautiful, and furthermore, this island broke a record as the second beautiful island in Indonesia. It is the appearances it is proven. There are lots of the mangrove trees that appear in the side of the island, and also there are lots of the activities that attract visitor, whether it is from domestic and local visitor. If I have a chance, I would like to give it a try, like snorkeling, because I never experienced snorkeling before. I was very keen to give it a shot someday. And also another activities like banana boats, surfing, and also enjoying the view of the 12-kilometer bridge that connected between Tidung, eastern island of the Tidung and the western island of the Tidung. And as I said, I would like to go with my nuclear family that consists of my parents, my brother, and also my boyfriend.
Okay,
And
your
this
time
is
is up.
my
I will stop you there, and we will now go on to part 3. Please put the note paper to the side, turn it over, your pencil as well, and I will now ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to the topic of part 2. How much money do you need to save for this dream vacation?
Okay, for the expenses, I think it's roughly from the range of the 1 million rupiah to 2 million rupiah, because it is quite expensive to go there. Many people are keen to go there for to reach their dream, to visit another side of the island, other side of the island.
Okay, good. All right, Chani, that was great. Cahyani, I've got some good news for you. You did a really good job to control your speed in that response. It feels like you've been really practicing controlling your speed, and because you're controlling your speed, you're doing much better in your grammatical accuracy and your overall coherence. I'm not sure if some of the other members like Domenico, Elizabeth, Fuang, who hear you speak often, caught that. Maybe you did. Let me know your thoughts, students. But I felt for sure that Cahyani just sounded a lot clearer in this response. Like I didn't usually when you're giving us or giving me an answer, Cahyani, there are a couple places where I have to kind of do like this, oh, what was that? But this time I didn't have to do that. This time it was 100% clear, every sentence that you said. That's what you need to do. I actually do hope you get a question like this, because I think you'll do great. Like I actually think that that response would be easily a 7.5, maybe even an 8. There was just a lot of clarity there and a lot of great detail. He said, if I have a chance to take a holiday, I would love to go to Tidung Island that is situated in Jakarta North, in northern Jakarta or north of Jakarta. So just a small mistake, but it's not a big mistake. And then you followed with a really nice sentence. Like you said, I have been dreaming to visit this island since I was 8 years old. That was great. Quick question, Cahyani. Have you been to Tidung Island?
Yes, I have visited the island when it was in 2011.
Perfect. I kind of got the feeling that you did, and that's why you chose it, which is really smart. And I even had this thought. I'm like, Cahyani really recognized when I said choose a place that you've been to. It's easier to talk about, and I could feel while you were talking that you were confident because you were sure of what you were saying, because you can actually see this place, you know this place, you've been to this place, right? So you're not just trying to guess what it's like, but you know what it's like, right? And that's a big difference. So I felt that you have been to Tito Island, and you're just using it as if it is a place that you would like to go to. That was very, very clever. Okay. So the island broke a record, gained a record instead of broke a record. Places usually don't break records. Athletes will break records, like breaking the 100-meter dash or the 100-meter swimming freestyle, maybe. So for athletics, breaking a record is correct, but or temperature, like July broke the record as the hottest month in history for Jakarta, but you don't really break a record as a location. Earn is a little bit more accurate there. So the island earned a record as the second most beautiful island in Indonesia. Okay, so just a couple of small errors, but nothing to worry about, and definitely nothing to worry about over the next 24 hours before your test tomorrow, Cahyani. So what I want you to do tomorrow is exactly what you did right now. I think as long as you can repeat what you just did with this kind of slower, confident, clear, enunciated English, you're going to get the best mark possible, okay?
Okay, yes, sir. Recently, I just communicating with English with my family, and I'm a bit lucky right now because my family support 100% English. But it is like vice versa when I'm coming to the society. That's why it's hard to find a partner in general in my country.
I think a lot of people are in that situation, and I think you're doing, you're taking the right steps. And if you look at the chat, there's a lot of agreement I can see it from your peers who agree. Like Romelia is saying, like, I agree. That was very clear. So without a doubt. So good job, Cahyani. Keep it up. Fingers crossed for you for tomorrow, and then definitely make sure to share with us. Okay.
Okay, sir. I have a question for last minute. So like in the question, there's the last question that should I complete this whole question even though maybe the examiner would interrupt me because I spent maybe almost 2 minutes and I didn't answer the last question, maybe a half of the question. Is that okay? Is that possible? Is that a big deal?
Really good question. So for everybody, and this is important for everybody, okay, Cahyani's question is a really good one. The last question here is, what kind of activities would you do and why is this your dream vacation? The last question is actually, why is this your dream vacation? You talked about the activities. So you talked about the snorkeling, you talked about the riding the banana boat. So that was fine. The why is this your dream vacation? You should really try to answer that within 90 seconds. So for instance, in this case, Cahyani, you might want to say something like, this is my dream vacation because I am so busy as a nurse, or as you're a bioengineer or something, aren't you, Cahyani? Just
biotechnology.
Okay, I'll remember it one of these days, Cahyani. So as a biotechnician, biotechnologist. Okay. Anyway, you'll correct me. But this is my dream vacation because I'm so busy as a biotechnician that it would be great if I could just kick up my feet for a couple of weeks on a nice, warm, sandy beach with my nearest and dearest. And so that sentence would answer that question of why is this your dream vacation, right? You're just super busy with your responsibilities with work and school, and it would just feel great to kick up your feet in this beautiful place, right? So just adding that sentence, you'd be done. And yeah, you should try to do that within the 90 seconds, no question, okay?
Should I slow down or increase the speed?
Sorry, one more time, Chani.
Should I slow down or increase the speed when I want to explain the last
Don't increase
question?
the speed. No, don't increase the speed. Don't increase the speed. Your speed is perfect. Your speed do not. Okay, I actually, as I said at the start, like I liked how you slowed down this time and you were slower. You made a lot more sense. You were a lot clearer. So don't increase the speed. If anything, you just drop your repetition. Notice how when I interrupted you when you started to repeat who you would go with. You already told me that you would go with your family and your boyfriend, and then you started to repeat that. You said, so I would go. Instead of that repetition, had you added this sentence, it would have been almost a perfect response. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Right?
And the answer should be in order.
Yeah, more or less. It doesn't have to be, but it works if it is. Yeah. Yeah. You should follow logic. Okay?
Okay, Adrian,
Right.
I got it.
All right. Do what you did, Chayani. You'll do great. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Bye, Chayani.
Bye, yeah, bye, Adrian. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Cheering for Chayani. Yes, let's hope that she has a good exam. Okay, Habibe. Hopefully we can make a connection here. You don't really get the chance all that often. So Habibe, are you ready? Let's hope for a good connection. Yeah. Thumbs up for Chayani. Absolutely. That hard work is paying off. Habibe says yes. Don't call me. I'll call you. All right. Habibe.
Hello.
Hi, Habibe. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Just a second. Okay. Can you hear me now again?
Perfectly.
Okay.
How are you
We
doing?
didn't connect. I am fine, and I am exciting a bit.
Awesome. This is the first time we're connecting, right?
Yeah. Before we tried, but I had peer connect, and so we didn't talk.
Yeah. So are you using a VPN? Did you change your internet setup?
Yeah. I changed my VPN.
That's what I thought. All right. And here you are. That's great. Where are you? What country are you in?
I am from Turkey, and
What part?
I live in Ankara.
In Ankara. Okay. All right. And why are you taking the IELTS?
Actually, I want to apply international companies for a job, and that's it.
That's a good reason. Eventually, I think eventually people will just say, it's the world language, Adrian. We just speak English now in the
Yeah.
world, right? It's the world language. We all need to use it. Yeah, that's really kind of the direction we're going. Okay, well, I'll ask this part 2 cue card. Give me an answer, and then I'll give you feedback. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. So let's begin part 2. Talk about your dream vacation. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay, one of dream vacation is Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Malaysia is in the Southeast Asia. Also, the country is bordered Thailand and Singapore. I have been dreaming to visit in Kuala Lumpur because when I saw documentary on the Netflix, and so that I would to visit Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. I wonder Asian cultures, and in Malaysia, there are different types of people. For example, in there, Chinese and Indian and Malaysian people live together. There are many different cultures and religions in there. I would go there with my son and with my husband, and we could stay 1 a week. It's enough. The best time June and May, I think, because the hot weather will come in the next months. And I would in the Malaysia I would visit many different temples and especially Batu Caves. And Batu Caves, people attract to Batu Caves in the some festivals time. Also, I wonder Petronas Twin Tower and local. And I would like to try local foods, especially roti boy. And really, this is my dream vacation um, mm, because uh, in their people, I wonder how can they respect to their religions and culture, and how can they live together in the peace. I really wonder this issue. That's it.
Okay, I will stop you there
Okay.
and give you some feedback.
Okay.
All right. Okay, that was good. It was very fluent, for sure, Habibi. So great fluency. You're speaking nice and fast, which is good. So you would get a band 6 for that because you're fluent. You're able to talk, and express your thoughts. Now, and I understand you for the most part. I do understand what you're saying. However, it's not a band 7 yet because it lacks the accuracy and the complexity needed for 7. Okay, so in order to get a 6.5 or a band 7, you need to have firstly more accurate English, so more accurate use of word forms, like correct word forms, correctly using the grammar, past, present, future, and correctly using certain prepositions and word choices. That's what you need mostly to get a little bit higher, 6.57. And then to get even higher on the band scale, you need to have more complex language. So if we put the two together, it would be something like this sentence that you said. This was a pretty good sentence. You said, I have been dreaming of visiting Kuala Lumpur, which I couldn't spell for the life of me. You gave me a really difficult word to spell. But anyway, I'm like, Kuala Lumpur. All right. I have been dreaming of visiting. I know the word, but I can't spell it. Don't ask me. I have been dreaming of visiting Kuala Lumpur because when I saw a Netflix documentary, because I saw a Netflix documentary and I was amazed at the rich cultural history and beautiful nature of this region of the world. Okay. So that would be the full version of that sentence. So in order to get those higher band scores, you need this level of accuracy and complexity. I'm going to say the sentence once and then just repeat after me, okay? So just try to do it from listening. So just try to listen and then repeat. Here we go.
Okay.
I have been dreaming of visiting Kuala Lumpur because I saw a Netflix documentary and I was amazed at the rich cultural history and beautiful nature of this region.
I have been dreaming to visit about Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. When I saw on Netflix documentary, and I was amazed, and I was amazed to rich culture and beautiful nature and region.
Okay, so I'm going to say it one more time. I was amazed at the rich cultural history and beautiful nature of this region.
I was amazed at rich culture, cultural history, and I forgot.
Beautiful nature of this region.
A beautiful nature in this region.
Right?
Okay.
So notice how sometimes you tend to choose the word and as an easy route. However, in really good communication, you don't want to overuse the word and. Okay, so teach yourself ways to connect sentences with using the word and a little bit less. Okay, now another important fix, and this is a good fix for a lot of people. There are a lot of people in many countries, especially India, for example. I've heard this a lot, but also in Turkey and also in other regions as well, where people tend to say in there. Okay, so you said it. You said there are many different cultures in there. For native English speakers, it's strange to hear that in there. Okay, it's like the person's like, in where? In Malaysia? So it's like, what are you talking about? In most situations, when you want to say in there, it's just not needed. You don't have to say it. Okay, so you can just say there are many different cultures. Or
I see.
Or there are many different cultures there, but not in there. In there makes it sound really kind of awkward to the native ear. So if you're one of those people who are using in there a lot when you're speaking English, okay, and it's not just you, Habibe, there are millions of ESL people around the world, English the second language, that say in there, and it's just kind of weird. So I just wanted to, say in a gentle way, try to avoid saying in there, okay?
Okay, I see.
It's a weird one. All right, Habibe, it was really good to connect with you. I'm happy we finally got a chance to talk.
Me too. Thank you for feedback.
You're very, very welcome. And considering it was the first time and you were quite nervous, I think you did great. So thumbs up. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
See you soon.
Great. Yeah, volunteer again. Bye, Habibe.
Bye-bye.
All right, those Habibe. How good was that, right? She made it work. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Elizabeth. She was so brave. Nguyen, please don't call me. I will call you. Okay. All right. Let's try another volunteer for part 2. Let's try who I think we had somebody yesterday that didn't have a chance. And I'm just looking to see if I can remember who that was. All right. Sorry. Let's give Tatiana a chance. I think I tried Tatiana yesterday and she wasn't able to connect. So Tatiana, are you ready? Hopefully we'll be able to connect today. Yeah, students, please don't call me. I'll call you. Otherwise, it turns into a zoo. Tatiana says, sure.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Tatiana. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I am doing quite well also. Thank you for reverting the question. All right, Tatiana, dream vacations. Are you ready?
I'll do my best.
That's all we ask. That's all we ask. All right, Tatiana, then I'll start you off. Here we go. So that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. Talk about your dream vacation. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay. Given a chance to go on my dream vacation, I would go to the city of Vancouver in the district of British Columbia in Canada. I'd go there because I'm an English language learner and a teacher, and I'd love and I need to spend some time in an English-speaking country. What's more, I once watched a travel TV show, and the presenter said Vancouver was the best city they had ever visited. They practically were crying when they had to leave it. I'd go to Vancouver in summer because the temperature will be from 9 to 22 Celsius degrees there. And to make this dream come true, I will have to work hard and save money for almost half a year, spending my earnings only on the basics, such as food and rent, because the tickets from Moscow to Vancouver and back are about $2,500 American dollars now. I'd go there with my study buddy because she speaks English very well and she's a bubbly personality. We'd have a great time there. And we would go to Granville Entertainment District, a neighborhood known for its restaurant, nightlife, and then we would visit Science World, an interactive science center to visit interactive installations and exhibitions. And of course, I'd go to Stanley Park in British Columbia to see the ocean shore and to take Instagrammable picture and to see the skyline of Vancouver from Stanley Park lake shore. And I would take a high, probably a trek, which is called Sky
your
Tour.
time is up. I will stop you there, and we will now go on to part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to the topic of part 2. Why would you choose to go to Vancouver to practice your English rather than another English-speaking country or part of the world?
I would choose Vancouver because native speakers there have their pronunciation somewhere in the middle between the British standard and the American standard pronunciation, so it would be easier for me to talk to them and to understand them.
Okay.
And also Canada and Vancouver are known as a very welcoming country.
Okay. All right. Well, you're talking to the right guy, Tatiana, because Vancouver is my next door city, and that's where my best friend lives. So I know Vancouver, and yes, I can spell Granville Island. So Granville, it's Granville Entertainment District, but it's Granville Island, which is there. And yeah, it's got some interesting places. There are lots and lots of tourist places around Vancouver, by the way. Stanley Park, Lionsgate Bridge, for sure, absolutely. Grouse Mountain, all of those are great places to visit. Tatiana, that was overall quite good. I liked your pacing. I liked how you were calm and comfortable. At the end, where you kind of started to get lost and swim out to sea with your ideas, that's where you want to go back to the original question and say, this would be my dream vacation because I always imagine myself visiting the far west, being on the Pacific Ocean, and I think Vancouver would be a great place to have that experience. So just kind of wrap it up, right? Like summarize it.
I forgot about the concluding sentence.
Yeah, instead of kind of floating off into this kind of abyss of ideas and information,
noted.
right? Yeah, because that can make a very big difference in the mind of the examiner, as this was a complete story versus this is a saga that is a to be continued, and obviously that won't get as good of a score. So you have to be careful with that. Okay.
Yes, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. Overall, your language was quite good. Focus on using even more connectives and emphasis to kind of create a prettier flow of your language, a more rhythmic up and down. You're doing a good job of it. You've definitely reached an upper intermediate to advanced level. Now going further into an even more advanced level, continue to work on, improving that aspect. So with more connectives, more intonation, more rhythm. Okay? All right. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. Overall, though, Tatiana, quite good. I think you would score about a band 7 for that. Maybe a 7.5, closer to the 7 range. I would consider that good English. Okay, and going towards the good to very good English. Okay, so that's how I would class that. Okay, good. Is that really a dream vacation? Have you been to Vancouver, or do you plan to visit Vancouver?
I have never been there. I'd love to go there, but there are a lot of ifs.
Yeah, it's far to travel. Vancouver has been, by the way, voted as the most pleasant large city in the world to live in. so multiple times. So it is a wealthy city for sure, and it is expensive. It's like $300 for one hotel room at an average hotel per night. So it's expensive, but a great place to visit. Thank you, Tatiana.
Can I have just 1 second? A question, very quick. You mentioned when you were talking about inexperienced IELTS teachers, you mentioned you threw some idiom or some expression, and there was something about scissors and pens. Could you repeat that, please? I didn't get it.
I don't remember the idiom. Can you tell me what words the idiom or expression included?
Something scissors and pants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got you, Tatiana. So they are flying by the seat of their pants. Okay. That's the idiom. They are flying by the seat of their pants. So what you want to imagine here is a person who's kind of holding on to their pants, like near the bum area, and they're just kind of flying through the air. The idiom
like the parachute.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. So exactly. So, and yeah, that's a good way to think about it. So it basically means that they are just making it up as they go.
I see. Now I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so flying by the seat of your pants. It means doing an activity or doing an action without really knowing what you're doing. So like, let's say that you're making a stroganoff, right? A beef stroganoff, and you're just kind of randomly throwing ingredients in there, some meat, and you're thinking you're making it, but you're really just flying by the seat of your pants, right? So you're not really following the recipe or any idea of what's going on. So that would be an example, right?
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, good question, Tatiana. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for giving me a chance to volunteer and your comments.
You're very, very welcome.
Have a great day.
Hopefully one day you're in Vancouver when you make that trip. Look me up, okay? Look me up. Give me a call. All right, okay, bye, Tatiana.
By all means, bye.
All right. If anybody makes it to Vancouver, you're just next door. So give me a shout. Send me an email. All right, students, in 30 minutes, in 27 minutes, we've got speaking part 3 coming up for you. For those of you watching, definitely check out and join our premium IELTS package at aehelp.com. That's what we were using right now to interact with students. You click that big red button there and you're good to go. We're back with part 3 in about 25 minutes now. No, it's still 27. And we will be talking more about vacations and travel. So check out the websites. Until then, have a glass of water, stretch your legs, and I'll be back soon. Bye for now. Thank you, volunteers. Thank you, everybody. Eugenia, thank you for joining our membership just now. We'll talk soon. Bye.